There's been so much drama in the past 2 weeks or so in the object show community that I feel like I should share what I think would maybe help prevent or stop it, or just like, prevent it or reduce it at least. You know, I'm not an expert, so don't take what I say as gospel, but this is just what I think would probably help. So, tip number one: don't spread allegations as if they're true. I covered this in more depth in my Zachary video, but here's the short version. If you don't know for 100% certain whether a story is true or not, don't spread it as if it is. Now, that's not saying don't spread it, but at the very least, mention that we don't know for sure, and it may be far more nuanced than this side of the story you're sharing, and that you shouldn't take what's said as gospel, because it might not be. Easy. Step 2. You'd think this one would be pretty obvious, but apparently it isn't. Don't lie. In case no one's told you before, lying for the sake of harming someone else, or with the intention of harming someone else, is a dick move, and you maybe shouldn't do it. Just a tip. Tip number 3. Communicate. Sometimes it's hard to convey tone over text. I know that I have trouble discerning tone when it comes to text without tone indicators or, stuff, and so do many others. So I would recommend trying to make sure what you're saying is difficult to be misunderstood and reiterate if needed. This is a tip I need to work on myself because I'm not good at that. Tip number 4. Don't assume malice. If someone says something that could be seen as mean or accusatory or hurtful, it could have very easily been a miscommunication. That kind of links back into the previous step, or previous one. I ask them to reword or reiterate or something so that you understand what they're saying before going off at them. And then this one also kind of ties into those previous two, which is tip number 5. Try to keep conflicts as small scale as possible. If you have the option to sort out the conflict between you and the people directly involved, that is the best way to do it. Especially if you're a YouTuber with a large following, don't make drama public unless you have no other choice. Yeah. And if it's like a crime thing, that I don't think, maybe that's something for the police to sort out, if it's like that big of a thing, And finally, tip number 6 that I have is, think before you post. Because what you post can be seen by literally anyone, and one slip-up can be the spark that starts a huge internet war. This becomes an increasingly more important step to follow the more popular you are. If you don't have any followers, you could probably be a bit more lax about this one. I would still recommend following it, but you probably don't need to worry as much, because the chances that someone is going to see it are lower, and then the chances that someone is going to be offended by it are even lower still. But then once you reach like a certain threshold, like once you reach 1,000 subscribers or followers, or 5,000, 10,000, you should probably take it a bit more seriously, and then once you get to the super big numbers, like 50,000 or more, this should be your top priority, I think. Because that's basically how all of these have started, is by someone not following one of these tips, basically. I may update this list as time goes on, but from my experience, these are the major ones. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow these tips in order to prevent stuff from hitting the fan. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this makes any difference in the object show community at all. And my hair looks so bad. No one's gonna take me seriously.